Today, this one's easy. This one's we can't get any easier than this, but this is one of the most important parts. So let's clean it up. I say clean it up because you know you're guilty when it starts to offend you. And I know it. I know when I say something and you know I'm right, but then you look at me like I'm the jerk. Nah. I'm doing this for you. So when you get these ideas, instead of being insulted, take a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, and then correct yourself and make yourself better. That's my only job here, is to make you better. So today we're going over pins and how, I'm just going to say it, how shitty pins are now. They're the worst. Like, guys, come on. Like, I don't believe half the pins you do. I know the match is only at the beginning or the middle. You would never ever convince me. And when it comes to wrestling with me, I want you to be convinced that this can be over at any time. So today, instead of giving me, I'm going to give you some examples of weak pins, and then I want you to go into some real pins. So one of the worst things I see is this, where a guy will go for a pin and he'll be in a push-up position because he wants to get to the next spot. Because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Just getting to the next spot where you're running and flipping, isn't it? Instead of going for the pin where it means something. So in this position, a guy will be like this, where there is absolutely no contact at all on a human being. That is not a pin. That's not a pin, guys. When in this position, if you want, you got to drive the hips down. The hips have got to go down to make contact with the body. I'm not saying you have to be heavy on them, but you better have contact on them. You can cross the face. That's perfectly acceptable. You can turn that arm in so you have it and leaning on it. The idea is you're looking like you're trying to go for the win. Scotty, who's man on camera, said himself, like Vader, you believed every time. Yeah, because Vader would actually put some weight on you, and guys had to struggle to get out of there. That's another thing with being a big guy, big heavy guy. You got to make these little guys work because they got wind all day. Make them work a little harder, would you? Just make them kick out a little bit harder, push you off. It works a little bit better. Another thing I see, and I'm going to switch positions with Matt on this one, is I see this pin right here. This is not a couch. This is not a Chesterfield, as we call it in Canada. It's not a sofa. We don't pin leaning back like a recliner, hooking that leg, the closest leg to us. That is ridiculous. This is so silly. When I see just shoulders on the guy, pinning a guy, that's ridiculous. If you're going to go for a pin of that nature, the best time, as I roll around here, that's not it. That's not how you pin. When you're going for those hips and you're pulling on the leg, the idea is to take his hips off the ground because you can generate hip power. Power off the kick and off your hips to kick out. So what I want to do is when I hook that leg is peel those hips off the ground so he has less power. That's the idea. That's the logic behind it. So his shoulders stay down, his power is gone so he can't kick out. So what I'm going to do is not the closest leg. You're never hooking the closest leg. You're hooking the opposite leg because now you got weight on his shoulders this side and you get the weight of his leg on the opposite side to even it out so that it's a real pin. So once I have this, if you want to go to that back pin, the idea is to really pull up and put body weight into it. Make this guy work for it. It's so silly to watch you grab that front leg in front and there's no weight behind it. The idea is, the intention is, I want people to believe that if I hit one suplex and I cover this guy, that people believe that, oh, maybe that's it. I don't want 100 false finishes, guys. And if I do want a false finish, I want the pin to be the false finish. Another thing I'm going to give you, just for an added little thing on this one, kick out. So when Rodney Matthews is in this position and he's going, he kicks out, I'm just going to do the cross across his face. The idea is he's going to forklift. So he's going to put his arms underneath his body and he's going to pop those hips and use those legs to kick out. Watch, because every time I get my students to kick out, they legitimately kick out. They're not staying under there. So when I come across here and I cross his face and I go 1, 2, you better believe Rodney Matthews getting out of there because he's going to be a star. He ain't going to sit around and take that losing paycheck. It's all about winning. That's the idea. It's about a pin. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Put a little bit more behind it, guys. The emphasis behind this game is if he pins, he wins.